I got you. I scared you. Don't even say I didn't. You got scared by a freaking tiny werewolf in April. And I'm so sweaty from wearing that mask. This is a really special video to me. This story is about my personal life and personal perspective of growing up through trauma and how just living life through this developed into anxiety and depression in my late 30s. I've never just went, here's my heart and soul before, so I am a little nervous. I am dealing with a little embarrassment, but I am pushing through because I know this can help. If you are going to subscribe, first, thank you so much. That means so much. You're the best. Please be sure to click the bell. I hate myself for saying this so much, but the reason I'm saying is that's how you receive the notifications. People have come to me and said, Ben, I subscribed, but I don't see when you upload something new. And I say, yeah, it's pretty stupid that you can't just get the notifications. But anyway, to get notified, you gotta click the bell. It's a longer video, so if you need to, just break it up into bits or turn up the speed. Now we're gonna end this with a little dance party. Werewolf dance party. We're gonna shake the booty. Yep. All right, Jeff. How are these dance moves? They're the best? All right, Jeff, you can fade into that awesome title screen. Come on, buddy. Fade in. Fade in, buddy. Jeff, come on, fade. Fade in. What's up? What?
So, why becoming Ben? What's becoming Ben? What's it all about? Becoming Ben is about learning how to become my whole self, connecting with the inner child that I lost from my childhood trauma. It's about learning to love myself. I was so hollow and pinned down for so long. I forgot who I was. And as I forgot who I was, I slowly started to hate myself until I fucking despised who I saw in the mirror. So to understand what becoming Ben means, I need to kind of take you on a little journey through my life and my trauma and my anxiety and depression and how it impacted me in my late 30s. Wait, late 30s? No, that can't be right. I'm pretty sure it's still 2007. I'm 24, right? Fergalicious just came out like 2 weeks ago. Come on. I'm going to just leave some breadcrumbs of life to better understand me. I am not gonna beg you to ring any bells or smash any like buttons or hit the sub button. But I want you to leave comments. Leave the comments. If something related to you, if you didn't like something, if something triggered an idea or memory, if you have a question, oh my goodness, leave the comment. I will absolutely do my best to reply. I want you to leave the comments because that's how this channel is going to grow and succeed. More comments mean more data, which means we're connecting with more human beings out there. Yes, let's do that. And leave me good comments and I can pull you into the videos and talk about certain things if you want me to, if that's cool, you know, if you give me permission to. Maybe I'll pull you into a video. Let's get to know Ben a little bit more. Ready? I was born in '83 in Pittsburgh, in the Burgh, and grew up about 30-ish miles south in a really small town, old coal mining town, really knocking on the door of Appalachia there. Great town growing up. And I'm a huge Stillers, Pens, and Buccos fan. Yeah, I'm even a Buccos fan. So you can shit on me for being a Stillers and Pens fan, but remember, Pirates too. Come on. Yins might even be able to pick out the Southwest PA accent. I am the youngest of three. Rachel's my older sister. She's 3 years older than me, and Josh is the oldest brother. He is 6 years older than me. So 3, 3, 3. Oh, 77, Josh is a New Hope baby. 80, Rachel's an Empire baby. 83, Jedi baby. I love them with all my heart. Cannot say enough. Even when we fight about childish things. They're my best goddamn friends on the planet. I would do anything for them, and I know they would do anything for me. We didn't grow up with a lot of cash. We had a small 3-bedroom house, 1 bathroom. 1 bathroom for 5 people, 3 kids, oh boy. My parents did a great job at shielding those financial issues from us. We weren't even that aware of it, to be honest. Birthday presents all the time, fun birthday parties, and there are always gifts under the tree. I'd always have an NES game or SNES game for Christmas, or I'd get a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle action figure, Ghostbusters, or X-Men. I think the only issue would probably be I didn't have many clothes as a kid, but you know, I loved our entire yard, especially our backyard. My mom had this beautiful flower garden in the front, in the side, in the back. She had this amazing vegetable garden in the back too. We had these 2 big maple trees that we used to climb in the back, and they would turn these fiery reds and oranges and bright yellows in autumn, and it was, you could swing on the trees as kids or climb in the trees and have lunch up there. It was just, I loved it. It was great. I had the best Nana on the planet. Yeah, maybe I'm biased, but you know, my sister's gonna agree with me, my brother will, and my cousins Amy and Amanda will, you know? But Nana deserves her own dedicated videos. There will be so much about Nana coming up. I was a very, very shy kid. I still get shy now, but oh my goodness, back then, I just couldn't talk. If I see a teacher in public, oh boy, just shut down. I had severe social anxiety mixed with insecurity and stuff. The insecurity and shyness affected my grades and my focus. I didn't get the best grades. It was hard for me to study and have the confidence that I was smart. That insecurity and shyness really hit head on in July of '92 when I lost my dad, Dan. My dad was barely 43 years old when he passed away of a heart attack. That's the second. And I was barely 9. Our birthdays are just 1 day apart. My dad's on June 24th, I'm on June 25th, so we always shared that. I don't remember my dad much. It makes me sad. I don't have many pictures of just the 2 of us together, or many personal stories. And even what I do have, and they're the eyes of a little kid looking up at his superhero dad, and his dad looking at his little guy's son. So we never really had a relationship outside of that. What I do remember are serialized kind of bits and pieces. And those memories are so important to me. It's like this random scrapbook. Most of my memories of my dad are warm and fuzzy and happy and joyful. My dad worked a ton, from what I remember. He was a writer for several different newspapers in the area. He was a social worker. He was a guidance counselor. Hell, when he was a kid, he was in the seminary. He wanted to make sure there was food on the table, clothes on our back. I actually remember several vacations where he wasn't around much. He wasn't neglectful, but it's also complicated. Like I said, almost everything I know of my dad has been told to me, whether it's by my sister, my brother, my aunt, my mom. The one memory I do remember in vivid detail is the last night I spent with him before he passed away. I will share the details of that in this channel, just not in this video. My mom, Liv, suffered mental illness her entire life. She had severe anxiety, severe OCD, depression. She had her own trauma growing up. And unfortunately for her, she was born in 1949, which meant she had very little options for therapy or treatment or growth in general. My mom was amazing, an amazing person, a loving, caring person. But her anxiety and self-hate was so strong. I think she only maxed out at 50% in her life. And I will be honest, that 50% where she maxed out was more than a lot of people at 80, 90, 100%. She was a phenomenal woman and a terrific mother. She was flawed, just like my dad, just like me, just like everybody on this planet. Flawed, but phenomenal. My mom taught in a Catholic grade school, the same one I went to. Unfortunate for both of us, mainly her. My temper could get shitty, to say the least. I will get more on that later, I promise. And when I say my mom taught at a grade school, I am saying she was the music teacher, the French teacher, the librarian, the computer teacher, the gym teacher, would put on the annual Christmas musical every year. And she was paid shit, like most teachers, but especially my mom, because she worked at a Catholic school in a town of 4,000. All that. And she still had financial issues. Something's not right there. My teacher rant will be for another video, not right now. I still have people coming to me to this day telling me how my mom inspired them through teaching. Whether it was in music class when my mom would play Beatles songs, or maybe it was in October, my mom would share a spooky story. Or maybe it was around Christmas and she would get into the magic of Christmas and Santa Claus. That was Liv, that was my mom. But she also had really powerful demons within, pulling her down and holding her back. And she balanced those demons and mental illness while being a teacher of 30,000 different subjects and being a single mother of 3. After my dad passed, my mom was very religious. Both of my parents were. I grew up in a Roman Catholic household, boppity-boopity, Italian-American. And that was great. I didn't like going to church on holidays because I was a kid. I don't want to go to midnight mass on Christmas Eve or the Easter Vigil. Even though my mom was so religious since she was a child, she never pushed an agenda on me. As I developed my agnostic atheist beliefs in my college years, surprise, surprise, she was very accepting on that. She didn't push Jesus or yell at me. We would still be able to have long spiritual talks into the night. And it was really beautiful, and I very much appreciate that. My mom and I, when I would be home from college, I'd be up till 3 or 4 every night, and my mom wouldn't be able to sleep some nights, most nights. And I would be in my room on my computer playing video games and on ICQ or AIM, and sometimes she'd knock on the door and be like, I can't sleep, can I hang out? Well, fuck yeah, Mom. So she would just chill in my room, and I'm playing Resident Evil on GameCube, and we're getting scared together or whatever. Or we would just have long spiritual talks into the night. And when I say talks, I mean talks, no arguing, no shoving agenda, no bullshit like that. My mom listened to me, and I missed that. She was one of the few people that actually listened to me. She always supported my creativity. She encouraged it. She would be my biggest cheerleader when I would write a new short story or draw a comic book. And hey, what am I doing right now with this camera here and these lights here and this script here? Creativity, Mom, lean it in. After my dad passed, my mom she couldn't cope. Losing a partner, couldn't imagine that by itself. Losing a partner when you're suffering severe mental illness, just exponentially worse, if that's even possible. My mom didn't have the energy or focus or confidence to be a mother for her 3 terrified, lonely children who almost couldn't grieve, didn't have the opportunity to grieve. And I'll talk about that more in future videos, but it's an important point to actually highlight here right now because that made me who I am so much today. In the days and weeks and months that followed my dad's death, my mom escaped the house a lot. She just couldn't handle it. And unfortunately, what that meant for me as a 9-year-old, I was alone a lot of that time. And when I needed that unconditional parental coddling, because I just lost my dad, I was alone a lot. And I would have panic attacks. I didn't know at the time. I know now, but I didn't know at the time what they were. It just felt like the world was ending. I felt heavy on my chest. And I started to create this world where my mom was dead. I was like, oh, she hasn't been home in 30 minutes, she's dead. Oh no! And it felt real. I was living in a nightmare. And I was so paralyzed with terror. And I was so lonely and I couldn't talk to anybody about it. So in my 9-year-old brain, with my 9-year-old imagination, with all my anxiety, I started to build walls of dread and terror around me until that's kind of what I believed the world to be. Over time, and I don't really know exactly when I grew out of the panic attacks, I can't even put a time frame on it. I didn't go to therapy, unfortunately. That would have helped me a lot, but my mom did enroll me to talk to my guidance counselors in 4th grade, the school year following my dad's death, and that helped me out a ton. My mom remarried in April of 1994, less than 2 years after my dad died. She married Drew. Drew was a family friend, friends with my dad, who my brother, sister, and I had known our entire lives. Drew also taught in the same grade school my mom taught in, which means he taught in the same school Josh, Rachel, and I all went to. As you can imagine, that was really awkward. The whole thing was awkward. But, you know, Drew, I know he loved the hell out of us. And I know he cared a lot about us and prioritized us and really wanted to help. He had his own shit. That's for another time. But he did mean well, and I know he did. And for the most part, especially in my younger childhood, he was a good stepdad. He really was. He wasn't my dad, but he was a good stepdad. Drew he just was not the right guy for my mom, especially at that time. He caught my mom on a major rebound, and what happened. Throughout the 90s, my mom's and Drew's debt grew more and more, and instead of planning action for it, they chose to ignore it in a sense, and I guess just hoped it would go away? Hard to explain. I really don't know other than anxiety and severe OCD and depression played the major role in that. And that's something I really didn't begin to understand until just about a year ago. By the time I was just 17, senior in high school, I could already see the cracks in my mom and Drew. Not their relationship with one another. Definitely not. I mean, with their adulting and their #adulting. Or their decision making. Their decision making was just confusing for me, even as a teenager. And it got worse and worse into my college years from 2000 to 2005, when the financial issues really took a dive. Drew was laid off of his job. He's at that grade school for decades, and yeah, they just pieced him out. He got to a certain age, but they also didn't really plan that was going to happen either, even though it was inevitable. Not that long after Drew was laid off, my mom was laid off. I want to say just a year or two later. Drew was working at Sears, I think, at the time, and trying to sell his stained glass work, which he was very talented at. Very talented woodworker also. But after my mom was laid off, I slowly started to see my childhood home deteriorate right in front of my eyes. And it was heartbreaking because when I was so young, that was such a warm and loving and happy place, and I was seeing it just fall apart in front of me. Growing anxiety and depression, that unkept mental illness, the financial issues, all of these things pinning my mom down and pinning Drew down, had them in this kind of cycle of inaction and blame and anger that I can actually kind of relate to and feel. The house got so bad toward the end, you could barely set foot in it. The smell was so bad, the dogs were going to the bathroom on the floor, and they were barely cleaning it up. I walked in the house and my mom's sleeping on the kitchen floor. Literal stacks of bills piling up everywhere. It was heartbreaking. My mom started to get sick in 2007, right around the time I accepted a job position in Sydney, Australia. Talk about two polar opposite events in your life. At the time she started to get sick, her doctor said, "Oh, you have a UTI, here's some antibiotics." My mom's popping those antibiotics and listening to her doctor. And as the symptoms didn't go away, as you guessed, my doctor said, "Oh, nah, I'm pretty sure it's a UTI, have some more antibiotics." And guess what? Her health didn't improve. So then my sister finds out, because my mom finally opened up to my sister about it. My mom didn't want any of us to worry, but it was serious. So my sister pushed my mom to get a second opinion. And when I say my sister pushed my mom, my sister's making the phone calls. My sister's making the appointments. My sister's talking to the doctors for my mom. When my mom finally did get that second opinion, we learned it was cancer. And my mom had to get an operation, a hysterectomy. And after the hysterectomy, we would learn the extent as she would get reevaluated. In February of 2008, just 2 weeks before I moved to Sydney, all the way across the globe, hanging out with koala bears and jumping around in kangaroo pouches, living the dream over here, my mom got her operation and she was recovering at my aunt's. So my brother, sister, and I went out in Pennsylvania, just a couple hours east of Pittsburgh, to hang out with my mom and see how she was doing. That would be the last time I would see my mom alive in person. Just about a week later, I was getting out of the subway in the Upper East Side of Manhattan and taking the mile-long walk to my apartment in the icy, slushy shit of February in Manhattan. And I was listening to Jigsaw Falling Into Place by Radiohead, and Rainbows had come out just a few months earlier, and I was playing that album out still, and that's one of my favorite songs. My sister called me then, and I popped the earbuds out of my video iPod, and Rachel called to tell me that the cancer had spread and it went to my mom's lungs and it was inoperable. That was the last time I listened to Jigsaw Falling Into Place until June of 2021. And the June of 2021 story deserves its own little video because it's nice. My mom passed away on December 21st, 2008. For me, it was the 22nd. That's kind of how I celebrate the anniversary, because I was across the globe in a different time zone. Her funeral was on Christmas Eve, and surprise, surprise, I kind of hated Christmas for a little bit after that. I wonder why. I don't anymore. I don't. I love Christmas again. It's the best. Spoilers, more on that later. Keep an eye out on the videos coming out. Subscribe. Smash that like button. I'm just kidding. Where am I? In the 10 months from my mom's operation to her death, she went through the hysterectomy, learning that the cancer had spread and was inoperable. Chemo gave her a blood clot in her right leg, and she had to get her right leg amputated. Meanwhile, during all of this, her financial issues are building, until October of that year, 2008, she had to foreclose on the house as she was dying from cancer. So 3 months before she was dead, she got kicked out of her house. My family had to scramble to just pack what they could. And then she had to get an apartment near my aunt, and then she was dead 2 months later. Insane. After she got kicked out of the house and had to foreclose, when the bank came in and changed the locks, guess what? The house just sat there and rotted away, full of most of our stuff. I think the fish tanks were still full of water, the refrigerator still had food in them, dishes still in the cabinets. It just was almost like people were still living there. I was told that the lights were still on for quite a while after that. I lost my teddy bear, RIP. A lot more on my teddy bear coming up. I'm a 38-year-old man who misses his teddy bear. And the guilt that piled up on top of me for not being around for any of this. I was in Sydney during all of this. My mom wouldn't let me come back. Every time I would talk to her, she'd promise me to stay there. But the guilt, so massive, obviously. That house stood there rotting away full of our stuff until about 2014, I believe, when it was thankfully torn down. That was a very difficult time, but it was also a relief in a sense at the same time. I would have nightmares about that house weekly as it rotted away. Not anymore. All my dreams are happy, warm, fuzzy dreams now. Thanks, therapy. I came back to America for my mom's funeral, and I stayed here for about a week. I was forced to go back to Sydney by work. HR forced me back because my visa was expiring. Even though I informed HR about my mom's death and the house and what I needed to do, I asked, hey, can we get the visa extended? Can we make something work? I was told, no, can't do anything about it. Yeah, okay. I screamed a lot of swear words at that HR woman. I'm sorry for the words I said, but you don't treat people like that either. I moved back to New York about a month after the funeral, and I bopped around sublet apartments, basement apartments mainly, the cheapest places I could get, because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do in life. I was lost. Poor Drew couldn't handle my mom's death. She was his life at that stage, and she was everything he had. Drew was falling into substance abuse, alcohol, pills. He was diabetic and wasn't taking care of himself. He suffered a heart attack and had a quadruple bypass several years earlier, and he was slowly withering away. In August of 2009, Drew passed away from a heart attack. After Drew died, I was burned the hell out, but I was also like, bring it on, fuck this, I got this. My mom died in December, my dad died when I was 9, a stepdad dying? Piece of cake, let's go, let's roll. I was wrong. I hadn't processed my dad's death, I hadn't processed my mom's death. I'm a man, bury those emotions real deep down into a pit until you forget they're there, right? Right, guys out there? You know what I'm talking about. Don't do that, it's not healthy. So all this started to manifest within me, and I didn't know it. I thought I had it under control. The 2010s saw my career just boom, take off. It was great. I got into IT consulting, I got into cloud strategy and tech enablement. It was everything I wanted from when I was in college. I was doing it. I was successful, I was getting promotions, I was making money. It was awesome up until it was no longer awesome. The combination of unprocessed trauma and raw, childish emotion, a very busy, demanding consulting career, losing both of your parents by the time you were 25. I was lost. I didn't have direction. I felt less and less like myself over time. But the scary part is, it was such an incredibly slow burn, I didn't even realize it. I used to love geeking out with all the tech in my career, hands on keyboard, learning something new, staying up till 4 a.m., troubleshooting something out of fun just because you want to learn. It was awesome. I loved it so much, and I slowly started to dislike it until I hated it. And I also started to slowly dislike myself until I just really despised this guy. Yeah, how did I despise this guy? He's awesome. I slowly started to hate my career, even my tech hobby. I started to hate my other hobbies. Running, music, video games, writing, getting out and hiking and camping. Just none of this stuff brought me joy anymore. I didn't even want to see friends. My hobbies, going out, things I love doing, just seemed like hassles. It was like, I didn't think anyone wanted me around either. And the solo hobbies just seemed like too much work. My negative voice got louder and louder and louder. And then around 2018, it just screamed in my face almost every day. And that's when I really started to fall apart at work, to the point where I wasn't able to get up out of bed. I was so lost and terrified. My work performance tanked. I went from high performer, top of the company, promotions to getting wrote off of projects, getting written up within just a few weeks because I wasn't performing. I was getting more and more irritable, and people were getting more and more frustrated. Co-workers, my bosses, my friends and family. I stopped replying to text messages. I had my phone off. I couldn't answer calls. I didn't answer emails. It got really, really, really bad and isolated. I constantly felt I was a failure and fraud. I was a fraud in my career. I wasn't as smart as I thought I was. I got lucky. Those promotions, just luck. Just faked my way through it. I just knew the right people, you know? All those times in different companies, in different countries. But that's how my brain worked. My colleagues, I thought they hated me. I thought my friends and family despised me. I didn't think anyone wanted to be around me. Why did I think that? Because that's how I felt about myself every single day. Every single day. I was a freaking consultant. The bread and butter of my job is to be an expert on something and get in front of a client and talk and present. I couldn't even join an internal status call with my direct team without having a panic attack, an intense panic attack. We're opening my laptop. What? I can't do this. Oh my God. Wild. And of course, work is gonna get pissed because I'm not talking about anything. I'm not talking about anything because I am scared of the repercussions. I am scared if I open up, I'm making myself too vulnerable, and then I'm just gonna be taken advantage of. So I bottle it all up. And of course, work is like, well, what's up with this dude? He's apathetic, he's not joining status calls, he's not doing the simplest documentation, he sucks. As the hate grew for myself, the self-care was dropping. I wasn't eating, definitely wasn't sleeping. I was coping with scotch a little bit too much. I was coping with marijuana a little too much, but hey man, at least the marijuana helped me sleep and gave me an appetite. No, I'm not recommending you go smoke if you're depressed. No. I'm just, Depression is like living with someone you fucking despise 24/7, 365. They are shackled to you and they won't shut up. They are just hypercritical of you and just won't stop. It's terrible. That internal voice, oh my goodness, the worst. But the good news is, I am here now and I'm feeling like this now. This smile, this energy, it's not fake, it's real. It's awesome. It's been this amazing, beautiful journey where my friends and family have supported me, where my last company supported me, and I'll talk about them more. I have an amazing therapist, Hans. I have an amazing psychiatrist too, Dr. Combs. I have an appointment with him in an hour, actually. They helped change my life in amazing ways. I can't say enough good things. I don't know what I would do without them. I am so grateful. I've learned so much about myself and about emotions in general and talking in general over the past couple years. I am so grateful for Hans and Dr. Combs because one, finding a therapist and psychiatrist by itself isn't easy. Finding the right therapist and psychiatrist, good therapists and psychiatrists, is very difficult. You need to find who works for you. And that's one of the things we want to do in this channel. We want to help you with that process because it takes time and energy, like I said. It's not easy. There aren't any instructions, no rules, nothing like that. I've had bad experiences with some treatments. I've had bad experiences with some doctors. I've also had almost miraculous experiences with other treatments and other doctors and therapists. And I'm here to share it all of it. The good, the bad, the frustrating, all of it for you. Because I promise it's gonna help. If you feel lost, I promise these little bits and pieces, they build up and they help connect the dots. It just takes time and patience. I promise you that. No one should feel lost or lonely out there. I don't want anyone to feel as lost and lonely as me. And man, I have a lot of people in my circle. Logically, I really wasn't lonely. But no one should feel that way, especially kids. High school kids out there. Oh, high school's hard enough. The last thing you have to deal with is being lost in anxiety and depression and no one listening to you, especially adults, because they don't listen. I know they don't. Living with my nephew for 15 months through COVID really opened my eyes to Gen Z and what they're going through and what they're struggling with. So, becoming Ben is about becoming my whole self. Learning on my journey how to connect and love that inner child. Because by connecting and loving that inner child, I am becoming my true whole self, which allows me to feel balance and understand balance and feel joy in life. But it's also about you too, becoming you, whoever you are. Probably my friends and family right now, because they're the only people who know about this channel at the moment. But I picture becoming Ben with becoming and a "Hi, my name is" sticker over Ben with your name written there. Becoming Ben's for me, but it's for all of us. We are all becoming whole together. I am so excited to get started on this. You have no idea. I quit my tech career of 16 years just to focus on this. I want to help people out there the way they helped me. I want to connect with you. This is something I truly believe in, and I know we can make a difference together. I know with your help, seriously, with your help, we can help build something incredibly special together. Yes, I am going to share very specific stories with you of my life. Hopefully those are entertaining, but it's not just about me sharing my stories. We're all going to be sharing our stories in this living, breathing community together is what I envision it to be. There are going to be different series within the channel. The Psychedelic Lab Rat series is the flagship. That's kind of what started this all. So check that out. But it will also be pointing some video game stuff, which is pretty exciting. Some interviews with medical professionals and medical providers, and interviews with friends and family and strangers out there sharing their stories too, who we meet along the way. We're going to dive into the science behind therapy and CBT and mindfulness and antidepressants and psilocybin and TMS and ketamine and things like that too. We'll also talk about general topics. What is anxiety and depression? What does it feel like on a daily basis? How does it impact your life? What are antidepressants? How do they impact you? What are they meant to do and how do they make you feel? What are traits to look for in a good therapist? These are questions we're going to help answer. So you don't have to go down a billion rabbit holes on the internet trying to find the right source or whatever. We're going to share real personal stories from our heart, from our core, organic stories of our struggles and successes. In all of this subject matter, I want it encompassed in wholesomeness and humor and joy and beauty, because that's what it's all about. The real world out there, it can get a little heavy sometimes. I don't want that in here. I want love. I want to be able to laugh at ourselves and joke. Yes, there are going to be video games being played, but I promise it'll be related to the subject matter of this channel. That's a very high-level glimpse of becoming Ben. You'll be getting more and more details of those stories because it's who I am. As I mentioned before, please leave comments, even negative ones, because they'll help. They'll help improve the channel. Ben, your apartment looks terrible. Fix it up, and I'll watch a video. Okay, I'll listen to it. The more comments you leave, the more engaged you are, the more we can personalize different pieces of this channel for you, for your specific illness, your specific treatment. Because this isn't just about me, it's about you too. I'm doing this for you. I really hope Becoming Ben can be a place for you to come, relax, feel seen, feel heard, and especially learn something. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you come back. I hope you had a good time, and you're awesome, and continue to be awesome. And if you're going through a tough time, I promise you got this. Just stick with me, and we can make it happen. Let's go. Okay, that's all she wrote, Jeff. I hope that was okay. Clap out. Clap on. Clap off. Clap on. Clap off. The clapper.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for coming to the werewolf dance party. Hope you like it. Hope you enjoyed the video. You should subscribe. Watch these videos. They're awesome. Or these ones. Thanks for watching. You're beautiful. I love you.